Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about Dark Age aggression. And what this means is making units, military units in the Dark Age and attack the opponent. And you might wonder if that really is effective because you might attack with only one or two spearmen. And the answer is yes, it can be really effective for several reasons. The first reason is that players around the gold level really know their build orders. They know exactly how to allocate their resources and their villagers in the first few minutes of the game in order to reach the feudal age super fast and get their second town center very fast, or get their military production really fast and collect capture sacred sites and everything really fast. But if you attack them early, they are forced to defend, to adapt to your attack, and because of this, suddenly their game plan goes out the window. Dark Age aggressions, any civilization can do it, but the Ottomans are pretty good at it because they can make early military schools, and you can see at 2 minutes or so, they already have one spearman ready. I'm going to start with an example where it fails and then show you examples of Dark Age aggression where it works more or less well. So the one thing you want to do is hit them as early as possible. So the spearman not moving, not doing anything, that's kind of a lost opportunity. So it's already been 4 minutes. The spearman could have been at the enemy gold, much sooner. And there's another mistake. You can see that the scout is all the way down here. And here, the spearman doesn't know where it's going. It doesn't know if it's going to find the gold right away or if it's going to hit the town center. No idea. And that's very dangerous. Ideally, the scout should have scouted the base, found the town center, and found the gold, so that the spearman can avoid the town center and still hit the gold without taking damage. And I can show you here. The town center is right there. But the spearman now only finds out that the town center is there, but it's too late. It's dead, and it has done 0 damage to the enemy. So let's take a look at another game where the spearman has more effect. In this game, the spearman rush worked really well. I accidentally lose my scout, but they have done their job. Their job being scouting the gold and the town center. So now my spearman can go around it safely and target the gold. And I used the stand ground trick, and now they're stuck, they cannot get more gold. And one scout against a spearman is never going to win because they do 1 damage. Actually, a villager does 6 damage, they do much more damage to the spearman than the scout. So they lost their scout for nothing. And now I have 2 spearmen, which will beat 2 villagers for sure. They're bringing a bunch of villagers, and the best thing to do now is to retreat. I don't know if I did, I don't remember. I didn't. But even so, they did a lot of damage. Remember, I killed 1 villager and I killed a second here. So right off the bat, they've already lost 2 villagers. Let's see what I do with the spearman. I go back to the gold. But while doing so, I see that they have a barracks. So because of my spearmen, they're forced to adapt and make spearmen, and they didn't want to. They probably had a very clear plan to develop their economy as much as possible, but because of these 3 spearmen, they kind of panic. And for example here, they made a farm. Why would they make a farm when they have all these sheep? They don't need to. But in this state of panic, they just forget and they're like, oh, I need food or whatever, and boom, put a farm. It's useless. They have a scout here, so they lost their scout earlier, and they decided they wanted another scout. That means that they spent 70 resources on a scout that is not even scouting, instead of making 1 villager. So let's take a look at the villager count. They're at 8 villagers and I'm at 17. I still only have 1 town center. So the reason why they only have 8 is because they lost 2 earlier. Okay, let's pause it here. They lost 2 villagers earlier. So had they been producing villagers, non-stop, they would have 16. And then they made a scout instead of a villager. So okay, if the town center was producing non-stop, they should have 15 villagers. They should be 3 short. Instead, they're 10 short, and that's because of the panic. They didn't know what to do, so they forgot that they should be producing villagers, and they tried to counter this lone spearman by making a barracks. But if you make a barracks, you don't have enough to make a mill, for example. So you can see they have 8 wood. They don't have enough to make a mill to gather from the berries. They also spent 75 wood on a farm that could have become a lumber camp. So that's the effect of Dark Age aggression. Is those players, they really know their build order, but if you mess it up, then all bets are off. Now that they have, and look, they still have only 8 wood. They don't have enough to make a house, and so these 3 spearmen, they can't get out. And they're not making villagers. Finally, they make a house, so that means those spearmen can get out. And but they still don't have enough for a mill nor a lumber camp. Since I know that they have a barracks and spearmen, I know that spearman versus spearman is not going to be very effective, and that's why I have an archer here, and I'm preparing an archery range to produce more archers. So they're still starved of wood, and they spent all their resources on 5 spearmen. But I know they're gonna make spearmen, so all I need to do is make archers, and I know that I'm good. And because they made a huge army of spearmen, they don't have enough food to produce villagers. So I'm still on only 1 town center, but I have 24 villagers and they have only 9. Economy wise, they're already so far behind that the game is pretty much over. But they don't know that yet. And I see this army. And I know that I cannot fight back. And I don't have to really fight to the bitter end. The best thing here is to retreat. Because I'm bringing archers now. So I retreat until my archers are I have enough archers, and with 3 archers, I can confidently take that fight, even if I lose the scout, which I did not. That's it. 2 archers, protected by a few spearmen, 3 archers. Did the job. So now I can safely go back to their base. And they still only have spearmen. So they can do nothing against this group of soldiers. They see me, and so they evade my attack, but it doesn't matter. I can just hit another area. So I'm bringing people here, I'm bringing people here. They're basically starved of resources. So even though this archer, for example, is not killing any villager, it prevents them from gathering. See? And if they're not careful, they lose villagers because of that. Now they have another huge army of spearmen. But again, these spearmen are going to do nothing against archers. And this archer can just run around. And I can greet these spearmen with this group.
أنا ذاهب. أتبع الأوامر. رامي السهام يتحرك. التحرك. سأجوب.
One last big fight and it's over. At this point their economy is completely dead. That's kind of like the best case scenario, and that was against the gold 3 player. This is a multiplayer game where it worked really well also, because we were playing against a French player. This player is a gold 1 player. So especially against the French, you want to starve them from gold so that they cannot make their knights. So I bring all my spearmen to the gold. And they see it. But the scout is not going to do much against a spearman. And they're not even collecting gold yet. You can see they still only have 100 gold. And since they're not reacting, I'm threatening their food. And I cannot really do much because of the town center. So I retreat. But let's take a look at what they're doing behind. Because of these spearmen, and because they really need the gold, they made a barracks and then 2 spearmen. Actually, they made even more. They made 4 spearmen to defeat these 3 spearmen. And sure, they're going to win that fight. But imagine if I had not attacked. If I had not attacked, that's about more than 500 resources that they would have spent towards their age up. They would have collected the gold and they would have collected a lot of food, enough to go to the feudal age and produce their first knight. Because of this overreaction, they're really far behind. They are nowhere near the 400 food that they need to go to the feudal age. Whereas I'm fine, I'm already aging up. So now the French player has only reached the feudal age at the 12th minute. And if you take a look at their resources, they have 800 wood, 800 gold and 650 stone, which has been sitting in the bank for a long time. And that's all because of their concentration being disrupted. So this works really well against less experienced players. And now I'm going to show you how more experienced players react to it, and examples where it doesn't succeed as spectacularly as this, and sometimes where it outright fails. This is an example of a raid that didn't go so well, and I'm going to show you why. I'm scouting the base as usual with my scouts, so that the spearmen can avoid arrows from the town center. And I'm looking for some resources. And I see a bunch of people on food. So I'm like, great, I'm gonna attack those villagers. The issue is, there's 2, 4, 5 villagers over here. So they are going to beat one single spearman. And then I was distracted, the spearman went straight into the town center. So already I have 2 spearmen who are heavily damaged. And since they fight back, this spearman dies. What I could have done is bring it out so that I can wait for 3 spearmen to arrive at the same time, then they're able to fight back. But since they arrive one at a time, they get killed one at a time without dealing that much damage to the enemy. I managed to kill 1 villager, but the price was 3 spearmen, so that's not really a good trade. Here's another attempt. Again, the scout circles the base. It finds the town center, and so my spearmen know that they should go around it. And I'm looking for the gold, and here it is. Here's the gold. I tend to make only 3 spearmen, and that's enough to do some damage without slowing me down too much to feudal age. So at this point, they're a bit short of 200 gold. And I make sure that I put them on stand ground. And you can see now they're at 180 gold. That's not enough to go to the feudal age. And if I reveal the map, here's what they're doing. They're preparing a mining camp at the 2nd gold. So people who don't panic, that's what they do usually. And that's why I had a spearman here, so that I can ambush them here too. And I target the villager that is heavily damaged. At this point, I bring this villager to here, thinking that they might commit to bringing more villagers here. But because of that, I'm distracted and I lose this spearman. I could have done better. And now they're bringing 4 people on gold, and I cannot fight back with just 1 spearman. And their only goal now is to get enough to get to the feudal age. And again, I managed to save it. So I'm still doing some damage, messing up these villagers, will help for raids in the future. Fighting here, fighting here. All of these villages are taking damage. Again, I'm distracted, I lose this one. But this has a pretty good effect. I didn't kill any villager, but a lot of them are messed up. The next time I raid, I can target these and they will be dead. And it also prevented them from getting to the second age as fast as they would have wished. Finally, it forced this player to invest 100 wood in a tower. That's 100 wood that they could have invested in other resources. And the biggest effect I would say on this game was that they don't have enough gold to purchase the technologies that they want to purchase right as they get to the feudal age. So the Abbasid, what they typically want to do when they reach the second age is to purchase fresh foodstuffs, which requires 125 gold, and then the technology that they unlock at their House of Wisdom. And this one also costs 125 gold. And I'm about to have those resources. And the opponent is not. Let's take a look. So they have the tower. And they reach the feudal age. But they don't have the gold. And because of this, they rush a bunch of villagers from wood to gold to catch up, basically. Whereas I have already queued up fresh foodstuffs and queued up this technology. This, and now they're starting to research this technology, and then they will research this one. So they're delayed by a few more minutes over their usual timings. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this topic and let me know if it worked for you.